Hi everyone, I'm Nate and welcome to Elevate with Nate, a place for learning, growth and self-improvement. Join me as we explore a wide range of topics, sharing insights and new knowledge from my personal learning journey. So, in today's episode, we're finishing off the series on my workout routine, and it's day number 5. So in case you haven't watched the previous videos, the first one was on chest and shoulders, second was on back, traps and forearms, third was your arms, and the fourth was legs. So, 5th day workout, what's that about? And in my routine, what I do is my squats, my abs, and some cardio. Now you might be wondering, why don't I hit squats on my leg day? I find that if I hit my squats on leg day, I'm so knackered after doing that at the end of the workout is a complete write-off. So I find that scrap it, just do it on its own separate day. Hence this day number 5. So on this workout, I actually don't start with the squats for the exact same reason that I get so knackered afterwards. So I start off with the ab workout. So let's begin. So for ab training, in my eyes at least, there's kind of 3 main things you want to focus on. You've got an exercise to focus on the upper abs, then you have the lower abs, and then particularly the obliques and the side ones. So my first one, I try and hit my lower abs, and that will be some sort of leg raise. The leg raise will focus on the lower part of your abs. And the variation you take for this exercise will depend on, say, on your strength of your abs. So the more beginners would be to simply have your knees, say your knees, legs are bent, okay? And you're gonna come up with your knees bent, okay? Hanging on to, say a pull-up bar, or if that gets time for your grip, in some gyms you might find kind of a little like sleeve thing where you kind of kick up to the pull-up bar, and then you can rest your arms in these sleeves so that you can literally just do nothing with your hands, okay? So by doing that, your grip won't fail. Or even sometimes when you have these all-in-one structures for doing pull-ups and dips, they'll have a little section too you can rest your arms against. So use that if you have that in your gym. So when doing this with your knees, what you must focus on is bringing your knees up as high as possible. Often bring it right back to like your chest literally, because at that point there, you're really getting a good stretch on your lower abs. So please, when doing these, unless you simply just cannot do it, it's too hard, do try and go higher up. Don't just do some quick short ones, come right up, okay? That's much harder. That's what you'll do. Now, of course, if now you say you're getting too good at that, then by all means try it with your legs straight, okay? Like an L raise, bam, bam, like some gymnast. Just give that a go. And of course, for this one, we're gonna go till failure. There's no rep range, just keep smashing them out. So if you find that you can only do 4 or 5 straight ones, don't just give up there. Just do 4 or 5 straight ones, and then if you can't anymore, just continue with the bent knee ones till failure. So after doing this, I now try and focus on my upper abs. Now, this tends to be basically a sit-up motion to hit your upper abs. I personally don't do this because I prefer kind of going a bit heavier. So I actually go and I do a cable exercise, okay? Which involves me doing kind of a crunch, okay? I do a cable kind of crunch, as opposed to simply a body weight or one where you lie on your back and use a ball. I don't do that, I use the cables. But if you particularly like doing your own crunches, then by all means do that. But for me, I use a rope cable crunch. And this one here, I'm gonna have a video somewhere, but essentially the good thing here is, because you can add the weight, you can get stronger. And normally you can go heavy on this. So I do 2 sets of this for roughly 10 to 12 reps. And the key thing to focus on when doing a crunch is the following. You're trying to work on your upper abs, okay? You're going to contract it. The rookie error for any of these sit-ups or crunches is to basically fold your body at your hips, doing kind of this whole thing. Right now, me doing this, I'm feeling nothing, okay? That's nothing. You want, because your pivot for your abs should not be your hips. Your pivot should be literally, essentially underneath your chest, in your upper abs. So watch this now. Awful, that's awful. Now watch this. I'm going to bend at this point here. In. Okay, weird face, okay? Like that. it looks like a smaller range of motion, but that range of motion is actually hitting your upper abs, your abs. Okay, I'm going here, breathe out, like that. So when imposing that into my rope crunch, okay, I'll try and find a good video for this because many of them are rubbish. You're not just kind of going down like idiots, okay? You're not doing this. What you're doing is you're gonna hold this, okay, side your head, and you're gonna. And what you're doing here is also you're gonna be kind of have your back actually pretty horizontal. You're not kind of going up, down. You're essentially kind of like on your knees forward, bringing it downwards. So at this point, we've now done the upper abs and lower abs, and now we've gone to do the obliques. Now for obliques, what you can do is they actually going back to your leg raises, okay, but instead of going upright, you can go to the angle, you can kind of do to the right or to the left. And you can do this actually with the knees up too, it's completely fine. And if you're very pro, you can kind of go in full circles, going past the kind of the horizontal, going kind of above your head. And even do windscreen wipers with your legs. That's pro. So if you can do that, give that a shot, it's a great one. But a different one now involving resistance and using cables is some kind of cable chopping motion. So you might have seen these before, either in gym, people doing it, even in movies sometimes, where you connect up your cable machine, the handle, and you're going to kind of do this motion, okay? You're going to say, if it's on my right, I look to the left, and bring it forward. So what we find is that the outer arm should be pretty much straight, and the closer one to the cable machine can be a bit bent, okay? It's like that, and vice versa. Now for me personally, just to hit different angles, I don't do actually a flat one. I do 2 sets from low to high, and then 2 sets from high to low. Where the high to low is easier, so you can go heavy on that. And that really will hit your obliques. Right, so at that point, that's all done for the abs. Sure, there's a lot more you could do. You could do a plank, you could do other bits and bobs, but that for me is enough just to kind of get by. So, we're done with that. Now the real test, the squats. So my squats is just like any other of my workouts, where I try and do 1 heavier set and then 1 or 2 more back off, higher rep ranges sets. Now, because it's a squat on a day by itself, I won't do 2 sets, I'll do 3, maybe 4, but most likely just 3 sets, okay? So the first set, I'll aim for 6 to 8 reps, okay, maybe 5 or 6. And then for the second and third set, I'll aim for 12 reps to get the whole range here. Even in the past, okay, for my first few workouts, I always talked about having a lower rest time, let's say a minute max. For this squat on squat day, because they're so intense, I do up the rest time. I might even take 3 minutes. I want to simply make sure I can get through this without throwing up and passing out, okay? So take your time, but go hard whilst you're doing your set. And as I mentioned in my leg day video, what's really important here for squats is your knee position, okay? And feet, okay, but feet and knee positions. Because essentially, if when you're doing a squat with your technique, and again, we're going to assume here that you're doing good depth, because that's just a given. Everyone wants to do good depth, unless you physically can't be flexible enough. But generally, you want to kind of go past parallel, past 90 degrees. But assuming you are doing that, now it's going to be, how does your body physically get into that position? Because if, and I can't show you here, but if when going down, if your knees go a long way past your feet, so you're going to go right over, that's going to focus more on your quads. Whereas if instead when you're doing it, your bum comes out more and your knees are above or just slightly in front of your feet, they're not too far in front. When you push up, it's more your glutes kind of doing it. So you're going to hit more your glutes. As I mentioned in the last video, me personally, my anatomy and how my flexibility, mine is more the latter. Mine's always in my glutes, frustratingly. I want to hit my quads. But that's how I squat. Because sadly, what can happen here is also your ankle mobility will also determine how far forward you can bring your knees. Because to bring your knee forward, think about the angle between your foot and your shin. We can't do it here, but your shin. So if that's your foot and your shin, if you can make that angle there, a small angle, then great, you can bring your knees forward. I can't. Like if I right now put my foot up and try and bend it, it won't bend that much. so I can't do that. So therefore mine's quite upright, and therefore there's a lot more of my glutes. Oh well. But if you're the kind of person who can do both, then it's up to you. If one day you want to hit more your glutes, then simply try and push your bum out more, knees less in front, and you're going to hit more your glutes. And vice versa, knees forward, and you're going to hit more your quads. So when it comes to your feet, I would say generally have them pointing slightly to the left and right, but outwards, and have it roughly shoulder width apart. Exceptions might be if you want to really hit your glutes abductors, then go even further wide, okay, like a kind of sumo kind of position squats. But generally, don't do that, just go standard shoulder width. So that's really it. Of course, if I'm feeling kind of up for something different, I might every now and then do a pause squat, something, or perhaps say 1.5 squats, just to mix it up. But generally, it's just the bog standard barbell squats. So at this point, we're now all done. We've done with the abs, done with the squats, and at this point in the entire workout routine for the whole 5 days, you're done now with the actual weight training routines. So well done. And what's now left is just the cardio. Now, I won't mention too much on cardio, because I'll probably make a different episode just on cardio. But essentially, look, for me personally, I do it more than once a week. Okay, I might do it 2, 3, or 4 times a week, if I have time before or after workouts. But if you can do something once a week, that's still fine, okay? And I'll say it's up to you which one you do. You can do running, cycling, cross trainer, you can do rowing, it's up to you. I personally now I'm doing more running, okay? But of course, if you're doing a leg day, so you say you're just doing your squats before doing cardio, you might from that doing cycling extra hammers those legs. So you might want to cycle, it's up to you. And what I'd aim for is roughly 20 to 30 minutes of cardio on here. And I would say, look, when you're first starting out doing this cardio, don't go too hard, okay? Sounds a bit counterintuitive, but if you just go too hard, you're going to hate it, especially if you're not experiencing this. It's going to feel horrible, and then what will happen is you'll fear doing it and you won't want to do it. Just go easy, okay? For these longer ones, say half an hour more, at no point really initially should you ever be kind of dying there, okay? You should be always be able to have a slight conversation with the person next to you. Actually, in more experience, then you can increase the intensity, but only after, I would say, at least 5 or 6 attempts at this. And like I said, I'll do a separate video on just running, because for my running routine, I'll have different types of days. I might have days I'm doing interval training. It might be 6 lots of 800-meter runnings. It might be incline hill running, hill sprints, or long distance on hill runnings. It might be a much slower paced 10, 12K. It might be done by a time, so we're going to run for an hour, see if I can go. So there's different options here for running, but that'll be a different episode entirely. So I hope you enjoyed this episode on my 5th workout of my routine. If you haven't already, please watch the rest of those videos, and hopefully you enjoyed this entire 5-day gym routine. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and bell notification. Feel free to leave any comments and any suggestions for future content. And as ever, onwards and upwards.